Alright, so today we are doing an anchor chart on comparing decimals. So we're going to go ahead and put our title up here, Comparing Decimals. Comparing decimals. Okay. And I would say the number one thing to remember, okay, so we're actually going to write it first, okay, number one thing to remember when comparing decimals numbers with decimals. Okay. The number one thing to remember when comparing numbers with decimals: more digits does not, okay, I'm going to give a nice ugly does not always mean greater value. Okay. And what do I mean by that? Okay, so I'm actually going to give you some examples here. So for my examples, I'm going to make a little box, a little window. Okay. So let's see, I went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. Okay. So a little window like that, and I'm going to give you 3 examples. Okay. In my first example, I am going to compare 432 to 12. Okay, 432 to 12. Well, I mean, come on, like, this is a 3-digit number. Of course it's greater. Okay, right? Of course it is. Right? That was obvious to you. I know it was. Okay. Now let's try. What if I did $4.32, okay, or $12, okay? Going to have pizza with a friend. You've got $4.32. Your friend's got $12. Who's getting more pizza? Okay, well, your friend is, because $12 is more. Okay. All right. Are you seeing how placing that decimal is changing some things? Okay. Now let's try 4 and 32 hundredths. 4 and 32 hundredths. Okay. And let's do 1 and 2 tenths. Okay. I'm actually going to leave that one blank for a minute because I feel like we need to talk a little bit more. And then the other example I want to do is 432 thousandths, okay, and 12 hundredths, okay. And we are going to talk about how to make those 2 comparisons happen, okay. So I'm going to look a little bit further down on the page. When you are comparing with place value, okay, the very first thing you're going to have to do, okay, that green's not very dark. I'm find something darker. You must line up the decimal, okay? you must line up the decimals. Okay? So that's going to be step 1. Okay? So I'm going to go with my first example here. 4 and 32 hundredths, and then 1 and 2 tenths. Okay? So now that I've done a little lining up, okay, I'm going to start at the place furthest to the left. Okay? So I'm going to start right here. Okay? And when I look at that place, what I'm seeing is that 4 is greater than 1. Okay? 4 is greater than 1. And so 4 and 32 hundredths is greater than 1 and 2 tenths. Okay? Now let's try the next one. Okay? 432 thousandths. Okay? And 12 hundredths. Okay? So, I'm looking here and like there's no digit here. Okay? So I hope you know if there's ever a digit missing to the left of the zero of the decimal, you can put in a 0. So those zeros are the same. Okay? So I started at the leftmost place. Okay? Again, I started here, leftmost place. Okay? And I found out the digits were the same. Okay? So now I've got to go to the next spot. Okay? So I compared the ones place, and in the ones place I had the same value. So now I go to the tens place, and in the tens place I see a 4 and a 1. 4 is greater than 1, so 432 thousandths is greater than 12 hundredths. Okay, and just to give you an example where you might have to go even further, let's do 432 thousandths and 423 thousandths. Okay, so again, we're going to start in the ones place because that's my furthest place to the left. Those ones are the same. Okay, go to my next spot. My next spot here is the tenths place. Those 4s are the same. Okay, go to my next spot. My next spot there is the hundredths place, and 3 is greater than 2. So this number right here, 432 thousandths, 432 thousandths is greater than 423 thousandths. It's not on my chart here, but that was just like a bonus example for you. So if you need to pause and go back to finish creating your anchor chart, your journal entry, go ahead and do that. Just make sure you have all 3 of these examples down here. Make sure you have this box, and make sure you remember, more digits does not always mean greater value.